Is.
Yes.
Hello, welcome back to When Technology Fails Us. Yes. We're just making it work tonight. If we get cut off again, we'll try it again. So just hang out with us. But thank you guys for joining us for community chats tonight. We are excited because tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that we've kind of been already talking about for a couple weeks. We've been talking a little bit about how to take care of yourself, how to take care of your business. So now we're going to talk about when those two meet, of how to take care of yourself, your business, and then also working with other businesses, how to collaborate, and how to support other businesses and be happy with them and work with them during these crazy uncertain times, but yet at the same time, not taking so much from yourself that it drains you. And then we're worrying about self-care and we're worrying about all the things all over again. So tonight I'm really excited because first of all, Kathleen Burton is back. Say, hey, Kathleen.
Hey.
So tonight she's gonna share some secrets because we've got a little thing that's her jam, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about that. And then we also have Stephanie Llorente, and I'm so excited, Stephanie, that you are here because you are like the other queen of supporting small businesses. Yes, you are. Female-owned
Very
business.
sweet.
We love them. And then we also have Kim Harris. And Dana, you're going to have to tell me how to pronounce your last name.
Brindisi.
Brindisi. Okay, got it. Also from the community to join us tonight. So Kim and Dana, I'm going to cut over to you guys first. And Dana, why don't you kind of tell us the last couple months, what everything has looked like for you, because you're in a business that people still need you on a regular basis. And so how did that go? Like, did you have to close your space up? Like, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, that has been a little all over the place in the beginning. So when all of this first happened.
Ooh, tell us a little bit about your business first.
Oh, sure. My business is Carolina Functional Neurology Center. We do neurological rehab. My background is in chiropractic, so everything that we do is from a holistic perspective. So we treat a lot of concussions, chronic migraines, kids with developmental disorders, and then more chronic things like MS and Parkinson's and stuff like that. So it's all from a rehab, nutrition, supplement, hyperbaric perspective. So we see a lot of people that need us, COVID or no COVID. And fortunately, we were able to keep our doors open and help those individuals. In the beginning, it was, or I was at least, a little all over the place. I wasn't sure as business owner, as healthcare provider, what was the right steps for me and for us and for our business and for our patients and all of that. So right off the bat, when this all happened, we had a patient that called in and they had just been in the office, the week before, and their husband came down with this illness and they didn't know if it was Corona or not Corona. So we shut our doors for a few days until they got their information back because we just weren't sure, how to respond because it was in the very beginning. But once that came back negative, we kept our doors open. We do one-on-one treatment, so it's a low volume practice to begin with. So we are social distancing typically anyway. But just tightening the parameters and not letting any extra people into the office. So unless it's a minor that their parents need to be with them, limiting who's sitting and, all the cleaning and PPE and all of that has been, it's different, but it's fine. And we're working through it. So.
Yeah, it's really hard to social distance as a chiropractor, isn't it?
Well, yes, I'm not necessarily social distancing
yeah, you can't
with my patients, but a lot of hand washing, masks, and all of that. We thought we were going to run out of medical wipes because you couldn't get them anywhere. I had to go through a dental facility in order to get them. So we were able to finally get our hands on those.
You got to get crafty.
Yes. But thankfully, everyone's being really open and inviting and just trying to get everybody what they need, which is nice.
That's awesome. Did you see, was there like a decline in business or was it pretty steady? Did most people still keep coming in? Because in your line of business, people are coming in on a regular basis. They need you on a regular basis.
Yes. So, we probably cut our patient base in half in April. We had a lot of people that, it was kind of an interesting dynamic because we had a lot of people that were on the schedule that just didn't feel comfortable coming in. So they had canceled their treatment, or they canceled their new patient exam. But then we had people calling that were saying, like, we have all this time. We've been wanting to come in and we couldn't get in because the kids had school and we were waiting for the summertime, you know, are you open? So it was a little bit of both, but we were probably about half capacity at the end of March and all through April.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know how I could deal with all being in work with that close of people with everything going on. Was it a little bit nerve-wracking, or were you, being in the medical field, like, okay, I'm pretty level-headed, I know what to do? That would have just like stressed me out to the max.
I wasn't necessarily worried about myself, and I felt confident in the procedures that we put in place and everything that we were doing to make sure that our staff was safe and that our patients were safe. So I felt confident with that. I was more concerned if, you know, I was potentially carrying anything, not being sick and not knowing and not having a fever, you know, because we have some patients that would be high risk. And we did cancel, you know, all of our elderly patients and things like that through the end of April. So, you know, I felt okay. I was just very nervous that I was going to bring anything to anybody else, even though we were putting so many parameters and still are putting so many parameters in place.
Well, it's still a constant worry, especially when you're, you know, the whole reason why you do what you do is to take care of people. That's a little scary. Well, we're glad you're here with us tonight. Kim, tell us kind of what the last couple weeks, months, gosh, it seems like years. Are we still in 2020? Are we? I don't know.
It's been the longest year ever, and we're only in the end of month 5. But I'm with Lemongrass Spa Products. We're a natural and organic skin care, body care, and cosmetic brand. And what we have found is that our business has really actually exploded. Now, I work a full-time job in addition to my Lemongrass Spa business. And because we had to lay off all of our daycare workers, a lot of my time has been invested in trying to make sure that these women who don't normally qualify for unemployment because we're a nonprofit are eligible to get unemployment. So I haven't worked my direct sales business as much these last few months, but I can say that we as a company, and even at the beginning of this, my customers just really flocked to get things like hand sanitizer from us. You know, it's not an alcohol based, it's made with essential oils. So we don't claim that it kills COVID or anything like that, but because hand sanitizer was so hard to come by anywhere, you know, people were just buying it in droves to the point that we sold out for a little while. Also hand soaps and things of that nature. But I actually took the opportunity during April and the first half of May because I was working full time and didn't necessarily need my income from my direct sales business to live on, that I just blessed frontline workers with care packages. And my customers joined in on that. They bought kits. I would take my profits and buy more kits. And we've just been able to bless healthcare workers and other frontline workers all across Wake County.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is so cool. It's just been such a crazy time. Does anybody feel like the last week with everything opening up, like I've had to go a couple places and I'm thinking, wait, are we still in these weird times? Because it almost feels like it's normal, except for everybody walking around with masks on. It's weird. Like you go out in the streets and you're driving to wherever you're supposed to go and you're thinking, oh wait, this isn't normal still. It's kind of weird, right? I don't know. We'll see how the next couple of weeks, months go. I don't even know. Oh man. Kathleen, you got to join us a couple weeks ago. So you kind of told everybody a few weeks ago, but would you mind sharing with us again? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and then what these last couple weeks, and since the last couple weeks since we've seen you last too.
Yeah.
How's it been going?
Goodness. My name's Kathleen.
Hey.
I have 2 kids under 3, so it's wild and chaotic in my life literally all the time, but it's a really good wild and chaotic. My full-time job, I actually sell essential oils. So I work with Young Living, and that is my full-time job. I work it all the time around my kids, with my kids, craziness. But just like Kim was saying, I mean, literally it has exploded these past couple months. I have never seen like this kind of growth in such a short time, which has been so cool. And it's truly blessed us so much. And we just moved here from Miami. So this is like a whole new area for us, like lots of newness. So that was a big transition. And like having that has been really great. So my husband is actually essential. He works at Target. So he's a property manager at Target. So he's been at work every day. And like our schedule hasn't really changed because he's still doing his day job. And I'm still like, I've always worked from home with my kids. So for me, nothing's changed except for the fact that like I wasn't having friends over every day to work with me with their kids, I know, honestly devastated about it, but
hard
getting back to some normalcy and I am thrilled about it. But yeah, I have just like seen crazy, insane growth and like, really? Just like Kim was saying, like cleaner, hand soap, hand sanitizer, like it's been amazing. It's been so nice to get oils into people's hands. It's like such a passion of mine. And like, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Enneagram later because I feel really strongly about that. And I work with a lot of people every day. Direct sales is pretty much relationship based. And like, I run a team of 1,400 women. So like, there's a lot of personalities on that team. They're all insanely amazing. Wow. Like, they're not all the same. So the Enneagram has been such a blessing to us. Like, truly, it's like having, and obviously you are not your number, like you're more than your Enneagram number, but like what we've used Enneagram for and like the color personality test and like love languages and stuff like that has been such a great way for me to simplify what I'm doing and work smarter and not harder. So like, instead of doing every love language and every like approach to every person on my team, like I don't have time for that. I love them so much, but I do not have the time. So if I know your Enneagram and I know your color personality and I know your love language, like it is so much easier for me to help you without like in the one way that you feel helped and loved and supported, as opposed to trying all the things. Cause like, let's be honest, I physically can't, I'm one person. And if you didn't know, which I will walk you through the Enneagram types, but I'm a 2, so I'm a helper. And so for me, like I need to be able to help people. So I need to just work smarter, not harder.
Too much. You would like lose all of your time if you tried to help every single person when you.
Yes. Yeah. Which is like what I want to do, but like let's be honest, I'm only one person.
Well, I know that because you made me do the test and now I know that I'm a helper too.
I did. It's like every time I meet someone, I'm like, do you know your Enneagram? And people are like, I'm sorry, excuse me? I'm like,
okay, we're still gonna dive all into this because I'm so excited. You guys, Anna said she had to make a return at a store at South Point Mall and most of the inside the stores are still closed and it's kind of spooky.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever seen those, like people share them on Facebook and stuff every once in a while and you'll see it's like a mall or a location or like an amusement park that used to be, that just was left abandoned and now it looks super creepy. Yeah. I'm sure probably what it looks like. It's like, where is either that or the start to like a zombie apocalypse movie. But
like, what a blessing to my wallet.
What's that?
What a blessing to my wallet.
A blessing to my wallet. I keep driving by Target and I'm like, hello, dollar stop. I'll see you one day. I'm so bad. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Stephanie, let's hop over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a couple different passions, a couple different businesses. You're like me. It's
all over the place. Yeah.
Passionate entrepreneur. Marie Forleo tells me that I can embrace it and she's amazing. So I go with it.
Roll with the punches. Just roll with it.
Go for it, Stephanie.
I'm super interested to hear what Kathleen says about Enneagram because I know like I don't know. Let's say I know nothing. Let's just say I know nothing.
For you.
I think I'm a 9, but I'm not certain about it. I am one of these like kind of all over the place people.
By the end of this call, you will know what you are.
So excited about that. So my name's Stephanie. I kind of got my kickstart in career in public relations in a couple of agencies and corporate land, and was really blessed to be able to have those opportunities and then step away from that in 2015 to start my own company called Prep Communications. So right now I consult with brands, be they large or small, but consult with them to help them kind of refine their messaging and then carry that message to the audiences that they really care about, and share that out. So lots of times that's done through media or some form of writing, things like that. So that's kind of where I come from. And in about, I think it was a little over 3 years ago, started working on this company that I now own called Restored. And that is actually kind of stemmed from my life in public relations, working for other people. When I looked around and I was like, I'm a new mom, and I am sitting in a cubicle at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. in the morning when most of these like mom groups meet, and like, I need resourcing. I want that. I want community for myself, and I can't reach out and get it because they happen at 10 a.m. when I'm working. So Restored is a community that exists to equip and help working moms. So that is my exciting job that I get to do. And that's been going on for about 3 years now. And we have really grown in the past, I don't know, year and a half, which is exciting. So we've got kind of boosted numbers in social media space and boosted attendance and things like that. And then COVID-19 hit, and I was like, dang it, which I know we all were. But so some of the things we were doing to grow were halted in their tracks, and that's fine. That's just the way it goes. I haven't, just to be fully transparent. So I've got this, the PR job that pays a little bit, and husband has his job. So I'm really fortunate that like, if we have to put Restored on hold, we have to put Restored, and that's fine. That'll be okay. So we've been really offering over the past few months some free programs for women who have maybe always been interested in Restore, but not had a virtual or a digital component to like enjoy it or like test consume it, if that makes sense. So we've been offering some free content there, which is cool. Haven't made $1 since February, which kind of stinks, but that's okay. You're in the same boat. So that's fine. But we are learning as we go. So this is, it's new for everybody. And one of the things that translates from my PR career is crisis. So one of the things I do is crisis communications. So when there's a problem and you have to communicate about that, that's when businesses come and talk to me. So one of the things I've been counseling companies to do is, or kind of a core, what I call like a core principle of crisis communications is crisis a lot of times spurs creativity. And because there are things you wouldn't do until a crisis hits and you're like, that would be a good idea to help fix the problem or to address the issue, right? So some of that has come into play with Restored also, and just thinking, okay, well, this is where moms are. They're overwhelmed, they're overworked, they're trying to teach school. What can help them? And how can I offer that to them where they are? So that's kind of where we've been.
Yeah, I jokingly tell people they ask me, they're like, Amber, how are things going? And again, I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So yes, I am the leader and owner of Vendrali, but I am also a business owner just like you guys. I own my own photography business, and we have a studio. And let me tell you, there's not enough room to really social distance in there. And I can't do the things I used to do. And then part of it is that we also rent our studio out to other creatives. So all that got put on hold, and people are like, how's it going? I'm like, so here's the thing. Don't start to lead a community that's solely based on meeting and networking in person. Yeah. So Stephanie gets that too. So we're like, what can we do? Lots of free content online, which is exactly why we're here. But I think a lot of it stemmed, just like Stephanie said, I think Kathleen, you had said it earlier, is during these times, the way that we felt the most disconnected was not being able to be with our friends and not being able to see people. And, you know, Zoom is great. I love seeing all of your smiling faces, don't get me wrong. But there's also a very big difference of, y'all, I'm a hugger. Like, I want to literally reach, Stephanie, can I give you a hug? Like,
come on, bring it in. Bring it
in. And so it's really hard for those of us who are used to being with people, and we love being with people, and sitting in the four walls of my house is really not as exciting as I would much rather be having this community chat, all of us hanging out at our favorite coffee place, drinking a latte and kicking back, or at their favorite bar having a drink. I mean, we don't discriminate. But I miss that, and that's why I love this. But yeah, Stephanie, it's really hard when your basis of connecting with people is in person, and when you're deemed not essential because hanging out with your friends is not essential. It's a little different, and it's a little hard. So Stephanie, I'm going to ask you the first question. So you guys, I kind of pitched 2 questions to everybody tonight, one for collaborating and one for supporting. And so this is back with your history of PR and all of the people you've dealt with all over the place, because you probably deal with people when they're at their worst, right? So you see people when they're in frantic mode of, oh my gosh, COVID had shut me down. I can't do anything. I'm losing all of this money. I can't do this. I can't do that. So is it possible, do you think, in a time like this, and granted, we're getting a little bit more lax as the weeks go by, but is it possible to create collaborative relationships where everybody wins? So the fact that, the best example that I said was that when all this happened, I wanted to help, and I wanted to help everyone. But I realized very quickly after a few weeks that all of a sudden I was leaving everything for myself all the way back there, and I was busy helping everybody else. So in a time of crisis per se, which is Stephanie's thing, how do you help business owners, and how do you work through that with them, but at the same time with you and yourself? Like, how do you work with that on your own end by being able to come home at the end of the day and not being like taking in all of that almost crazy, stressful emotions? And how do you keep moving forward every day to keep working with people through crisis and say, like, I'm here to help you and support you, but how does it not almost like take a little bit of your soul at the same time with just trying to stay happy and trying to stay supportive when you're working with a lot of negativity all the time?
Yeah, that's a really good multi-pronged question there.
You can feel free to take that however you want it.
So something we teach in crisis comm training is how to filter through, right? All the questions you ask. I think a lot of times, when you're so deep, especially as business owners, we get so deep into the weeds of running the business. It's really hard to step back, especially in a crisis. It's really hard to step back and look at it for what it actually is versus like what you're in every day. And because that can get super overwhelming and just all consuming. And then on top of that, if you're a number 2, it sounds like is the helper bee, then, you probably feel all of that extra than, more so than maybe I would, or maybe somebody else would. So I think the best course of action for, personal mental health probably is to set your boundaries and what is acceptable behavior versus what is not acceptable behavior and those things. And you can do the same for your business. Like so for Restored, for example, we don't have a lot of cash flow right now, right? Because we're not offering paid events and things like that. So I'm not going to feel the burden of helping someone financially. I'm not going to, right? I can, empathize with other business owners that are going through that. And, but I am not in a position to be able to help with that. So why I can't take on that burden. But if there's someone that asks for a Google review. This is a great way to help businesses right now, by the way. If somebody needs a Google review, if somebody wants an extra like on their Facebook page, a Facebook review, something that is, doesn't cost money, might cost a little bit of my time, but I can reach out and do that. And that is a burden I can help them carry. But I think as far as what, kind of that overwhelmed feeling that we get in the middle of a crisis, the most important thing to do is just take a step back. And sometimes taking a step back means asking someone else for help that's not deep in the weeds like you are, and setting those priorities and saying, like, what's number 1? When I tackle number 1, what's number 2? Okay. And what message am I going to carry out into the world when, with all of this going on?
That's so true. So one of the very first things, like when everything started happening, I did a Facebook Live here for Ben Raleigh. It was just me sitting in my office, like, you guys, it's getting crazy. And one of the first things that I found comfort in was I said, look at the financial numbers. Like, the numbers don't lie. So like, if you look at what it does, and if you look at your business and say, I'm not going to make a dime for this month, what do my reserves look like? So that was always something that I found comforting in the beginning, was just like you, Stephanie. When it comes to Bend Raleigh, y'all, the only thing that we're bringing in right now is our directory listings, because we can't have those in-person workshops. So that is really different. And so I literally looked back and I said, you know what, though, that's okay, because I have my photography business, which I'm still doing ish. Basically, it was all mentoring, because I can't shoot people, let's be honest. But I had some mentorships and some coaching that was bringing in money. And then my husband has his full-time job, and being in the restaurant industry, they really never closed. So we were in the same spot, that we were really lucky financially that I could say, okay, what can we do with Ben right now? Well, we can't meet in person, but you know what? We can do the best that we can to give all the best free content that we possibly can, that's going to bring value and maybe a little bit of joy and a little bit of relief and a little bit of happiness to everybody's day. So I think that was really helpful in the beginning. But what do you look at as far as how can we help businesses moving forward? When we're kind of in this transition period, like some people are going back, some people aren't going back for weeks. Like, what does that look like? What do you think some good ways that we can start to help people as we move forward? Because I know a lot of people, like Dana, you never closed, right? But then a lot of us are starting to reopen, and we talked to some boutique owners last week or the week before that we were talking about the reservations of moving forward and what that looks like. And some people are like, yeah, let's open. And some people are like, I'm not ready yet. What do you think some good ways to help people out and support businesses now that you kind of have this now a little bit different mind work with this?
I think it's really important as everybody moves forward just to give a little grace. People and businesses alike are going to be ready for different things at different times. There's some businesses that never shut. There's some that have shut for temporary, for the kind of the government mandated shutdown stuff. And there's some people who, like me, have been working from home, because that's just what I do normally. So I think as the doors open and as people transition back into some level of normal life, it's going to be really important just to give people grace, give businesses grace as they're figuring things out too. Don't go slamming them on Yelp right away. Like give them some time.
It gives me a heart attack thinking the people that are not quite nice right now and are like, oh, it took them 25 minutes to get my to-go at a restaurant. I'm like, please be nice. Do you know what they're going through right now?
Right. Things are just not what we're used to, I'll say. And so I think giving grace is going to be really, really important as we move forward. And then being, for those who have business owner friends, be a sounding board for them, because I know what my business does, and I know how I think best, or how things might best work for my business. But what I don't know is if I hope, I'll give you an example. I know people like Restored. I know people show up for Restored. I know people are brand ambassadors for Restored. What I don't know is in June and July, if they will show up for Restored. If in June and July, they're going to be brand ambassadors, not because they don't like it, but because they're uncomfortable, right? Showing up to things in person. So I think using those around you as a sounding board, find whoever your target audience is, and most of you are in some form of wellness, that are here on the screen talking. So find whoever your target audience is. For me, it's working moms, 25 to 45 in Wake County, right? So that's a very kind of targeted space. So find those people and ask them, like, what do you want? How can we serve you? What programs would be helpful for you? What do you feel comfortable with? And they will tell you. People aren't shy. They'll tell you.
Sometimes people are almost, a little too much. Kim and Dana, how has it been for you guys? I mean, Kim, you've got people working with, obviously, on your business. And then Dana, you've probably been just super focused on everybody within the walls of your building right now. But how's it looked like for you as far as your other small business owner friends during this time? What's that look like?
A lot of my other small business owner friends are, in my industry. It's, again, it's kind of been up and down. Some people are really busy, some people are not so busy. We personally did some outreach for the community. I wanted to give back to our patients, but I also wanted to give back to Raleigh. We have clients that own restaurants here in the community, which, as you know, like everybody got hit hard. So we just this month gave away a bunch of gift cards to locally owned restaurants, and we gave them to our patients so that we could, help support them and also help support the businesses as well.
That's awesome.
So we were excited about that, and I didn't really know when, I just was like, I want to do something. And so the restaurants were kind of the first thing that came to the forefront of my mind. But we will probably do it again. And if there's anybody on here, I'm sure there's a lot of business owners. If, you guys are offering gift cards or things like that, I'd love the opportunity, to do that for you, hopefully in the future. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Wendy Parker says she loves that. Wendy, I love you. Wendy was with us a couple weeks ago. So Dana, when we're all done at the end, I'm going to have all of you guys just leave your contact info in the comments. So if anybody wants to connect with you later, they know exactly where to find you at. That's awesome. Kim, you were saying too that you guys were packaging up some things for frontline workers. So you were working with the community a lot. How was it? Did you work with any other small businesses, or what did that look like for you guys last couple weeks, months? I say weeks, I'm like months, years, whatever it's been.
I've partnered with several other direct sellers, as well as some boutique, online boutique friends of mine that have, they own boutiques online. And so what we have kind of done is like a product swap. And so I will promote like their business within my VIP customer group on Facebook and do a product giveaway and really play up their business and encourage them to go over and learn more about my friend's business. And so we've been able to introduce new customers to our friends, and they would introduce new customers to us. It's kind of how we've been partnering, because we can't get out. I mean, in direct sales, I'm losing my mind, but Amber, I believe, is the...
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Amber was talking about Young Living. We are in a relationship business in direct sales, and, all of us to some extent, we have relationships, and it's harder to foster those relationships when you're not face to face. And so I've been doing like a lot of just fun interactive. We had doing Zoom bingo, where I just, let the ladies come and let their hair down on Zoom. We've had a Zoom scavenger hunt, and just done fun things like that. Just, so people can just feel like they're in a party atmosphere and they're not leaving home.
Yeah, that's really cool. So on the flip side, I found too was that one of the, I try to always look for the silver lining, y'all, because if you don't, there's no way you can get through mess. So when all this started happening, looking at Bend, we had all these really big ideas and these big plans put out for these different workshops, and we're looking at doing all this stuff, and it's like, just kidding, you can't get together in person. So, well, that just took all these big plans and made bloop, nothing. So it was, well, what can we do instead? And so that was when I went ahead and got together our advisory board, which I wouldn't have had the time, honestly, to be able to do that if we weren't where we were a couple months ago. But it was actually a really cool blessing, because every single person who reached out to me, I said, can I give you a call? Can we just hang out and talk? And, I always said 10, 15 minutes, because that was always my intention. And 20 minutes would go by. Kathleen's laughing because she was one of them. 20 minutes would go by and I'm like, oh my gosh, I said 10 minutes. And she's like, no, I'm not doing anything. It's okay. 30, 40, 50, 60. I'm like, oh man, we gotta go. We gotta go. But it was really cool, because in normal life, I wouldn't have been able to walk around my house with my cell phone in my back pocket and my earbud in and taking care of the dogs and watering the garden and doing the dishes, all while literally on a call with somebody and being able to connect with people in a way that we maybe necessarily wouldn't have in normal life. so that was a really big blessing to me over the last couple of months, is I honestly feel like even in this crazy time that I've been able to connect with a lot of people who I may have never had the opportunity to. So that's kind of one of those really cool things. Kelly Phillips says, totally agree with giving people grace. Yes, grace is my word of this year. It was brave. I think I'm switching it to grace. I don't know. We have we have the grace to change that, right? Yes. Okay. Kelly says that we put in a $600 printed t-shirt order that came on the wrong color shirt. Ooh. Luckily, we like the result and we're working with the company so they don't lose all their profit on the mistake. We've got to have each other's backs. Yeah. Well, and I think too, it's really hard because everybody is also stressed out, and the idea that mistakes are going to happen normally. But I almost feel like when mistakes happen now, you're like, it's okay. We'll figure it out, right? Oh, that's hard. My goodness. Okay. So let me say, I'm excited because Kathleen, it's your turn. All right, you guys. So full disclosure, I didn't know. Oh, Stephanie.
I just thought of one more thing about collabs. Before we jump into Enneagram stuff, which I cannot wait for this. Okay. So
that's how you raise your hand like this.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, Stephanie.
So from the PR perspective, when we're wanting to do good work and we have a business over here, it is we have a tendency, and I do this too, we have a tendency to want to do a good thing here and a good thing there and a good thing there. And what can help you as a business owner is to think more strategically about doing a thing here and a thing there. If you create an umbrella program, right, to house the thing here and the thing here and the thing here, then they all, you can create a bigger story about it. So I love Kim, you're in the business of wellness. And so you are helping frontline workers in the healthcare. That makes sense. That aligns nicely. And you continue to do that, and you're helping the same population. So it makes for a good story, and it supports your brand at the same time. So I would just say none of the good work that anybody's doing is bad by any means. Like, it's all good. Keep doing that. I would just say, consider your audience, consider your brand, and how can those things align nicely so that you have a bigger story to tell about your business. And there, I'm done. Okay.
No, I love that. That's so true, because it's almost one of those things of when you have being small business owners. We're not small business owners because we're millionaires, right? Well, okay, I don't know. Well, we're not going to go there, but we're small business owners because we love what we do. Like, we're passionate about what we do. And there's a lot of us who are like, yes, I need to make money and I need to pay my bills. But there's a lot of us that just honestly love what we do. And so when you're able to help within that same frame of what you love to do, there's a lot of times where I will literally, and even over the last couple months, weeks, where I've seen a business and I'm like, how can I help you? Like, can I photograph some products for you? Can I share, some guidance with you? And when it's all still in the realm of what I love to do, it brings me joy, it benefits them. And it's almost easier to look at that bigger story of like, how can I serve people with the gift that I have and the passion that I have for what I do?
Absolutely. And I will tell this as my one last story. I said I'm done. I'm not. So I worked for this man, because I think it's relevant. I worked for this man one time who was an excellent business owner, and he grew an agency I was at to a very large company. And when I interviewed with him, they told me all the good things that the company was doing. And I was like, that's great. That's so nice. And he says to me, and I think we can take a note from this too. He says, almost verbatim, I don't do this to be nice. I do this because it's good business. It's smart for your business to be kind to the community where you live, work, and play. So you can find joy in it, and you can enjoy the time that you're able to give back, but also know that it's also smart business. And now I'm done.
So true, because then when you can take and give back and find joy, but also find a way that benefits you and benefits and grows your small business, as long as you're giving back from a place of honest generosity, but also you benefit at the same time, there is no shame in taking it and going.
It's a win-win-win. It's a win for your business. It's a win for those you're helping. It's a win for your community. You can't go wrong.
Absolutely. I always said, I think it was maybe oh yeah, it was Mira. We had a post in the coaching consultant group a couple weeks ago, and it was talking about, I don't know if any of y'all caught that. It was it was an article called something, don't hold me to it. It was like, no, I will not let you pick my brain. If you guys want, if you're in the coaching group, go check that out. If not, I'll post the link later. But it was really interesting because it was talking about the people who come and seek you out and say that they want to pick your brain about things that, you know, like for people who we do coaching, like, yes, you can pick my brain, but we have mentoring for that, or, you know, and it was the idea that the people that always come and use that phrase was almost a negative connotation because it almost always stemmed back to a place of they weren't willing to pay you for your value and your knowledge. It was a really good conversation, but it brought it back to the fact of it's okay for someone to ask you your input as long as both parties are benefiting in some way, that you're not asking without being able to give in return. So true. Yeah. I love it. Yes, Stephanie. Kelly says good call. Love it. All right. So Kathleen, we're gonna do a little pivot this way. So same idea, but talking about collaborating. We're gonna talk about collaborating and supporting businesses without being able to become crazy overwhelmed. And what I loved, Kathleen, when we talked about this was, if you know how people's minds work and you know what they're motivated by, and you know what on the opposite end makes them upset or doesn't motivate them, it makes it a lot easier to interact and collaborate with a person if you know who they are on the inside. And that can take a very, very long time to get to know someone that personally and that intimately. You know, we can have hour-long conversations on the phone, but I love, and Kathleen is going to teach us a little bit about Enneagram and how it's very revealing about who we are and how we can kind of use that knowledge to work with everybody. So full disclosure, I am so excited because I didn't know anything about this. Kathleen's been teaching me. I literally was like, I'm going to figure this out. And then I never found a test to do that wasn't paid, and so I said forget it, and then Kathleen sent it to me, and I was looking through all this. I was like, this makes sense, like that is so me, or oh, you're absolutely right. And it was kind of crazy to have that discussion, and so I have, just out of pure curiosity, when we can gather again, absolutely, Kathleen has agreed to teach a class for us, which I'm excited about. And since we've been talking about it too, we've had a lot of people that are asking about it as well. So Kathleen, kind of tell us why you are so passionate about this. And for those people who don't know what it is, can you explain it to us a little bit more?
Yeah, so the Enneagram is a personality test, and it's characterized from 1 to 9. So it's a type 1, type 2, type 3, all the way up to 9s. They each have a descriptive word to describe them, but I'm going to give you just like a quick kind of idea of which one is which and what they mean. I'm not going to like delve into it because we just don't have the time. But
you're going to do a class for us.
But I did link.
For those of you who are checking,
yes.
Kathleen left a comment in the thread of, was that the test? Yes.
YourEnneagramCoach.com is a free Enneagram test. It's really easy. It might take you like 10 minutes, but honestly, it's very interesting. And it's been a huge help in running a small business. So like I said before, I am in direct sales, which means that I like interact with a lot of different personalities. And so probably the reason that I got so into this is because we were active duty for 5 years, and I built my business almost completely online because we moved around a lot. We were not near family. I mean, like probably the first year of my business completely on Instagram and Facebook. So with that being said, like I definitely, like the whole communicating only on the internet is very hard, but this has made it a lot easier for me, especially because as an Enneagram 2, like I'm a people person. And so like, it's hard for me not to be there right now with you. Like I'm like a very I don't want to say touchy feely, that sounds weird, but like I would hug you and be like, oh my gosh, yes, let's talk. Okay, great. Okay. You know, just all over. So for me, like having that ability to connect with someone when you can't necessarily do it in person has been awesome. And it has truly served my business time and time again. So this is something I actually, anytime someone decides to join my team and do the business, I have them take this test, and I have them take the color personality test, which I can link later.
Link it later. I'm a color fanatic. What is
I'll
this?
link it later. It's the Jacob Adomo color personality test. You're either red, yellow, blue, or green. Which
I don't like to be defined as small colors. I'm a like color fanatic.
Oh.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Put me in a color box. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so type 1 to 9. I'm going to give you a quick run through what they're called and like a little synopsis. I do not want to like drone on and on because like no one wants to hear me talk for hours. Okay, type 1s are called the reformers. These are people who are very organized. They like structure. They very much believe in right and wrong. They like everyone around them to make the right decision. Really healthy ones know how to like encourage people and like give advice and then step back. Unhealthy ones feel the need to control everything around them. So on a scale of where you're at, you're a 1, and then you can either be on the unhealthy side or the healthier side, and you can swing back and forth based on what season of life you're in, what you're dealing with. Obviously we all go through stuff. So as a 1, you will have a wing, which is either a 1 wing 2 or a 1 wing 9. So it goes like around. And so your wing just kind of describes the kind of 1 that you are. So I'll get into wings later. But I just wanted to like give that kind of idea. So a 2 is the helper.
We've got wings. I'm going to need a flow chart.
Fine. I'll make you a chart. 2s are the helpers. They're very servant hearted. They're very, like people oriented. They're most likely extroverts. They love to be like social, kind of like social butterflies. They always are trying to look for ways to help, anything they can do to help. The unhealthy 2 is going to basically, this sounds bad, but like unhealthy 2s are going to hold that against you if you don't appreciate them for the help that you've given. And they're going to feel like you don't love them or care about them unless you've acknowledged what they've done for you. Super healthy 2s are going to serve and love you and then leave the chips where they are. I served you. I loved you. There was a need. I met it. Good. I'm not going to like hold it over your head. I'm not going to, you know, bring it up later. Like I did this and I did this. So those are 2s. Type 3 is the achiever. 3s are crazy driven. They are almost sometimes workaholics. They see a goal and they will not stop until they meet it. Unhealthy 3s will put their work or their passion above everything else, above their family, above their health, above everything. Really healthy 2s will be super driven emotionally towards a goal, and they will bring people along with them. So it's not just about them, and like sometimes unhealthy 3s can see that their value comes from what they produce, and healthy 3s know that they have things to contribute, but that's not where their value comes from. Type 4s are the individualist or the romantic. 4s tend to be very emotional, very, I don't want to say moody, nostalgic, but like they are very in touch with their emotions. Super healthy 4s can connect with people really well and really feel a lot of feelings without letting them overcome them. Unhealthy 4s can get so deep in their feelings that they like can't move past what they're feeling in the moment. Type 5s are the observer or the thinker. 5s love information. They love to read and study and know everything. They basically live their life based on facts. Like they want the information. They want to know everything. They feel there is power in knowledge. An unhealthy 5 can tend to not see past anything other than what is written down in front of them. That's like forced facts. Really healthy 5s can take knowledge in from every aspect and also add emotion and have a well-rounded life. Type 6 is a loyalist. 6s are your biggest cheerleaders. Once they're your friend, They're a little skeptical and a little reserved, but once they're your friend, anything you want to do, they will celebrate all your wins. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to, like, these are the people who repost all your social media posts, who's like, go support my friend, she's amazing. Or like, look at my friend crushing her business, she's so great.
So
like,
they don't need to be on the how to support the business part of the call tonight, right?
Exactly. They are crushing
They're
it.
already killing it.
Mhm.
Done.
Unhealthy sixes can tend to be a little bit paranoid about security and feeling safe. Really healthy sixes can kind of take life as it is without thinking too much, overthinking. Type sevens are the enthusiasts. Sevens want to do everything. They want their hand in every part of the pot. They want to try every experience. They want to go to all the restaurants and do all the things and be with all the people. And they want to literally never miss out on anything. They have severe FOMO for literally anything. And they're constantly going. They do not appear to get tired. Healthy sevens know how to stay grounded in the moment and still enjoy life. And unhealthy sevens can tend to completely forget about what's reality, and they only focus on what's fun, what's new, what's everyone else doing, constantly living in the future, not the present. Type eights, special part of my heart here. My husband's an 8. They are called the challengers. They are very intense and very bold and very justice driven. They want things to be fair and right, and they have no problem speaking up for the underdog or someone who might need someone there. They have no problem saying what they think at any moment. They're just going to put it out there. Type 8s who are healthy are very generous and genuine and servant-hearted in the way that they protect people. They're like protectors. Type 8s who are unhealthy can be bulldozers and not think with emotion. They can only like drive through what they think is right. And then 9s are the peacemakers. So 9s tend to be very mellow and chill and kind, and they just want everyone to like be in a good spot. They're very supportive, very if you have a friend who's a 9, they're always going to want to make sure you're okay, and they're always checking in, and they're there for you all the time. They're pretty chill overall, personality wise. Unhealthy 9s can be very passive, like they won't say anything but they'll hold it all inside. This is random, but a 9, I have a lot of close friends who are 9s, so I don't think they would mind me saying this, but like think about a sloth. A 9 is a sloth, and it's because they just are they're going along, they're like hanging, they're like, it's cool, don't worry, not stressed about anything, it's fine. And so the unhealthy 9 is way too slothy, and the healthy 9 is living that peaceful life, supporting people. They speak up when they need to, say how they're feeling, and like they're well-rounded. Okay, so these are all your types. Working with these is very helpful because, for example, a 9, I cannot go to one of my business builders and say to a 9, you need to get it together. These are your tasks for the week. Go and do them, or else you will not be successful. A 9 would crumble, fall apart, and never come back to me. A 3, the achiever, would hear that and say, yes, give me more tasks. Tell me you will be disappointed if I don't win. And I'll say, okay, it's fine. So being able to communicate with all of these people, obviously it takes time to learn all of them, but like you will most likely, when I've been going through 1 to 9, there has, I'm sure, been a time where you either thought, oh my gosh, that's me, or you thought, that is my husband, or that is my best friend, or that is my mother. Guys, I know that you have one in your head that you're like, I know exactly who they are. So I would just encourage you to, if you obviously run a small business. If you work with a small, tight group knit of people, take the Enneagram together, learn it together, and you will most likely categorize everyone you meet and be like, I know what you are. And like, it's just really helpful to be like, hey, I know how to communicate with you in what you need, when a 9 is going to want to hear, I believe in you. You can do this. Here are 2 steps that would really help you out right now. Whereas a 2 would want to hear, you have so much value. You are so kind. People love to work with you. Like, it is such a joy to be around you and work every day. Like, yes, tell me that every day.
Okay,
So,
this
like,
is making me laugh because like I think my daughter is our slothy 9.
I'm telling you,
I
you
need to
will
go
start to think,
8, but okay, I'll make her take
if
the
you
test.
have older kids, like older, like elementary and up, like my kids are toddlers. So like, I have no
I
idea
don't
what
think
their
you can
type
make them
is.
take the test.
But like, if you have older kids like Kim, I'm so interested to know if you've like thought about your daughters in this, because it's so interesting. And like being able to, like, once you look, I follow so many Enneagram pages on Instagram, guys, it's like unbelievable. But you will see things that like, here, this is the best. There'll be pages that are like, this is what each Enneagram type is doing during quarantine. And it'll literally go through and be like, the 2s are asking their neighbors if they need toilet paper. The 8s are yelling at the people in Target who are taking too much toilet paper instead of what is realistic for their family.
Follow these people for sure.
Guys, it's great. Honestly, there's so much hilarity in it. I highly encourage it. But like, running a small business is hard. You put your whole heart into it. And I know, just like you guys do, that when you hire someone or work closely with someone, like, this is not, and for lack of a better word, Target. We love Target. My husband works for Target. This is not Target. If I work with you, like, you are family to me because we are running this together. It's small, it's genuine. Like, I am going to know you more than I would know the people who work at Target if I worked at Target. So like, we have such an awesome opportunity to really pour into people in that way. And when you know things like your personality type, I feel like it simplifies your life so much. Like, I cannot tell you how much less energy I am using these days knowing how to communicate with these people once in a simple text instead of saying all different kinds of things and hoping one of them sticks.
That's amazing. So like and see, this is why I'm so interested in this, because like I was saying, I think my daughter is the slothy one. Mm-hmm. I love her to death, but like the 2 of us don't think the same. Like, we are almost the same exact person. But like, for instance, today we are sitting there at the house and she is upset because the sandwich I picked her up from lunch, we went to Jersey Boys subs in Fuquay Varina, by the way. If any of y'all have ever been to Jersey Boys, I love their subs. So the guys on accident, because I'm wearing my mask, they did not understand me when I said what number I wanted. And then so I got home and my daughter didn't have bacon on her sub. Okay, she loves bacon. She's very, very upset. And so we're going through this whole discussion because she's like in tears because she thought she was getting bacon on her sub. Like, this is how much she loves bacon.
I mean, I relate.
And I'm like, babe.
I might have some tears with that.
Right? Yeah. Okay, babe, listen, I understand we didn't have bacon, but you're still going to love what you have. And you know what? I'll open up my sandwich. You open up yours. You can pick whatever meats off of my sandwich you want. Like, I'm trying to be like the best mom I can. She's in tears. And I'm like, you're crying over bacon. And I was already a little stressed out. And I'm like, why are you crying? She goes, because you're angry at me. And I'm like, I'm frustrated because you're mad because you didn't get bacon, but you have a sub and I got you a chocolate chip cookie. Like, why are you still upset? And she's like, I'm upset because you're upset. And I'm like, well, I'm upset because you're upset. Versus like my mentality of, we joke, my husband and I love to run Spartan races. And so if any of y'all don't know anything about Spartan, go look them up, but they're basically like military type of obstacle course races. And so when you show up to a Spartan race, like, there is no crying, there is no whining, there is no, I can't do this. It's either you hush your mouth and you go do it, or you do burpees. That's the philosophy. So in our house, the joke with my husband and I is when he tells me that I'm not dealing with things, he's like, STFU, because that means Spartan to up. And so he's like, suck it up and do it. And I'm like, okay, I got it. You know, I have to get myself in the same headspace. But if I literally tell my daughter to suck it up, like, she'll be in tears in the corner. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry you didn't have bacon today on your sub, but what we do have to offer you is this. Like, it's the way that you have to talk to people. And it's even that way with my children. Like, the way that I have to approach things with my daughter is so different than the way that I have to approach things with my son. Yeah. And then even the difference in my personality versus my husband's personality, I would love to just make everybody in my family do this we can communicate
Yes.
better. Is that bad?
No, it's not.
Everybody
Honestly,
in the third household gets to take a test today.
I made my husband take it and he still is like, don't typecast me. And I'm like, you're such an 8. Only an 8 would say that.
By the way, we need to have a talk because I have a feeling that we're also married to the same person.
I think we might be. So wait, okay, Stephanie, Dana, and Kim, I'm dying to know if you heard.
Do y'all know your numbers? I don't know enough, but Kathleen's gonna dissect you.
You might.
I don't. I was kind of that. I was like, you were going through them, and I'm like, oh, that could be me. And then the next one, I'm like, oh, I kind of have a little bit of that. That could be me.
Yeah. Well, we all have aspects of a lot of them, but there is definitely your core. So like, it wouldn't surprise me if you related to a couple, but like, I would take the test and like, please message me after. I'm dying to know.
Can I pick your brain about that after this?
Yes. Yes.
This is why she's teaching a class.
Here for you guys.
It was interesting because when I took it, it gave, and I literally, while we were talking, I pulled it back up. But
how do you spell it?
ENNEAGRAM.
I misspelled it the first couple times too. No worries. But it gives me, it says your top 2 types, and then it gives you a percentage, and then it says your other type results, and then it gives you by percentages going down. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Cause yeah, this top one is definitely me, but I'm a little bit of this one too. And then it was really interesting to look at the one that had the least likely percentage. And I'm like, yeah, that is not me.
Yeah. Stephanie, do you know what you are?
I am conflicted. Is one indecisive? Because that might be. I am potentially the slothy peacemaker.
Okay.
And potentially a number 2. I don't consider myself like a helper, but I don't know. Maybe I am that.
I would disagree with you on that one. I think you would be.
Oh, really?
I think it's important to note that, and this, take it or leave it, a lot of Christian women mistype as a 2 because they are called the helper or the servant. And so it's like biblically, we're called to be helpers as people and like as women, and like that's such an awesome thing that we get to do for each other. So I have a lot of friends who have mistyped as a 2 until they really dove into it and realized what they were.
Yeah, like I want to take this again and again after I study it and like really analyze, because the questions that it asked you is like a handful of questions, and it asked you the same question but slightly different. I'm like, oh, but what would I know? Wendy Parker, you say it's an interesting test. Wendy, what are you? We have to know.
And Kim, what do you think you are?
I'm leaning toward peacemaker, by the way.
I think I'm a good, strong cross between a helper and a challenger.
Okay,
is that even possible?
You're feisty.
No, that is.
I'm very feisty.
Okay, so when you are healthy or unhealthy, you can swing to another number. So it's so interesting that you say that, Kim, because a 2 that's very unhealthy will swing to an 8 and get very intense and like, this is how I feel. I can't believe you wouldn't understand me, blah, blah, blah. And an 8 that's really healthy will swing to a 2. Mm-hmm. So like my husband is a challenger as an 8. And when he's super healthy, he like is really intense, but in a way that is like for people. Like he's very outspoken for protecting people and like speaking up for people and like being so generous with people. And like, that's so cool. And like me as a 2, when I'm in an unhealthy spot, I will swing to an 8 and be extremely defensive. Mm-hmm. You know? So like, it's super interesting that you say that with the 2 and the 8, because they are very connected.
So I think I'm more like what you say with your husband, that, you know, I'm intense, I'm bold, justice driven, but it's like I'm always speaking up for others. Yeah, you know, like, I rarely speak up for myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a 2, right?
I think you're going to need to take the test and then we'll dissect it.
Okay. This is so cool. Okay. So on that website as well, that I've noticed is that they have like a podcast now that you can check out as well. Is that the best resource that you feel for us to kind of go and take a look to dive into these a little bit more?
Yes. And I will also tell you that there is a podcast. So there is an album by, oh gosh, Sleeping at Last is a band. They wrote this album called Atlas, and there's a song for each type.
Are you serious?
Yes. And let me just tell you, once you find out what you are, I want you to listen to the song and it will literally make you cry if it's the right one.
Oh my
So
God.
the two song was so, I mean, I could not have pinpointed a more perfect lyric and music combination. Like it was like my whole soul was spilled out on the page. It was so good. And they actually they did a podcast on every number, how they wrote the song, why they wrote the song. The people in the song are that Enneagram number. And so like they just brought so much in. So if you look for that podcast and that album, it's very interesting.
Can you drop that in the comments later for us?
Yes.
This is so cool. I'm really excited because I think, like you said, is that I never, in a big conscious way, I'm always like, well, you have to treat people differently because some people don't respond to this versus some people respond to this. And, some people respond crying with bacon when it's left off your sandwich, and some people will be super angry when their bacon is left off their sandwich. If I know how to respond. But I think it also works well too, is that, and I think you've shown me this, is that after talking to people, just the way that they speak and just the things that they say, you can almost identify them without saying, have you taken the test? What number are you? But you can almost give them a little bit of analyzation and say, oh, I think that they're this, so I can probably work with them in this capacity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So does this help you work through your now 1,400 women that you have working with you?
Girl, yes. And let me just tell you, luckily, almost every single person on my team has been super open to taking the test and talking me through it. But another thing I wanted to share with you guys, because we have had to shift so much. I mean, like I grew a lot online, but like obviously now we all have to shift to do a lot of things online. There are two apps. I mean, I guess besides Zoom, there is an app called Marco Polo. And do we all know what it is? Yeah. Yes. Kim's like, yes, I do. Okay. Marco Polo will change your life. It is, and I would show you, but my phone is dead. Story of my life. So Marco Polo is like a walkie-talkie, but you can see each other's face. So it's like Snapchat, but it's not quite as sketchy because things don't disappear. So when you're talking, you can literally press record and it's like FaceTime, and people can watch you live or they can watch it back and then respond. So it's like a walkie-talkie for your face. So like I'm Marco Polo with my mom and sisters because we all live all over, which is really nice because we can see the kids. But because the majority of my whole team is military, they're all over. And like I have like an entire team in Germany and Australia. So like we're not always on the same time zone. Hello, that is very difficult. So if you're sending a Marco Polo, they can listen to it whenever they're awake. Like I have a girl in Australia and she's exactly 12 hours behind. So like if it's 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., we can usually chat up until like 11 and 11. But if it's like 4 in the afternoon, I mean, she's asleep. So I'll send her a Marco Polo and she'll wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and answer it. So like it's just been really helpful, a very helpful tool to feel connected, because as opposed to text or the phone, you can see their face, which has helped a lot.
We always joke, poor teenagers now, like they don't understand and everything gets strewn out of context, because when you send a text, it can literally be made out any which direction unless you include an emoji with it. Like, is she angry at me? Is she trying to laugh at me?
Yep.
That's really cool. I want to check that out. Oh man.
Yeah, the album, sorry, going back a little bit, the album is called Atlas Enneagram.
Atlas Enneagram. Okay, can you drop in the comments for us?
Girl, yes, I'm doing it now.
So excited. All right, you guys, it's already 9:15. I could probably sit here and listen to Kathleen tell us all of the things all night long.
Because I will teach a class, don't worry.
Teach the class. Which, yeah, by the way, you guys, we are also trying to figure out what that's going to look like for us moving forward, because we're still only allowed 10 people inside. Then there's all of those other things. And Stephanie, I know you're going through the same thing with Restored too. Yeah. So we're just trying to figure out things one at a time. Originally, we had said for the month of May, let's do community chats. Well, guess what, you guys? We're at the end of the month of May, and what is June going to bring? I have no idea. So what I would love to do is, for those of you who are still on with us, I'm going to see if we can go ahead and keep trying community chats for the month of June until we really get a good idea of when we can get back together and what that will look like. So we had picked out a couple topics that everyone had shared with us that was on the top of their mind of things that were really relevant during this time. But what I would love to do going forward is if you guys want to drop some ideas in the comments, if you have them for us, of what type of topics you might want to talk about in June, or you can always feel free to email me at hello@benderali.com. Tomorrow, I believe I'm going to go ahead and put a post up in each of the community groups too that you guys can chime in on. But I absolutely love this. And until we can get together in person and Kathleen, that I can finally meet you, because I feel like we've spent so much time virtual, right? Dana, I'm excited. I think we're coming to see you in the next couple weeks too. And Kim, I cannot wait. I'm so happy to finally see your face because I've seen your name and I've seen your business for so long. And yes, Stephanie, I need to give you a hug too. I miss all of this, but in the meantime, I guess it'll have to do. So it works for us. But before we head off, I want everybody, can you go around real quick and tell everyone where they can find you and where they can connect with you online? And then when we sign off, go ahead and make sure to leave that in the comments for you guys as well. So Stephanie, where can we find you at?
So Restored on both Facebook and Instagram is Restored for Moms, like the word for FOR, not the number. Restored for Moms. And our website is restoredformoms.com. So any of those spots are great. On the PR end, I took down my social media for the PR stuff because it's so B2B, and that's just more of a consumer thing. So you can email me, which you can find my email address on the Restored site. It's fine to do that.
You know what? I think that's beautiful because let me tell you, social media is taking a toll on my mental health some days.
Well, yeah. And I'm still into it for Restored, but for the PR thing, it's so corporate. It didn't matter for my business there.
Very corporate, and I love it. You do such an amazing job. You guys, you'll have to hear some of Stephanie's really entertaining, we can use that as a word, corporate stories some days. Yes. For those of you who have been to Illuminate before and heard Stephanie speak in person, you've heard them, but they're good ones. Kathleen, I see you already dropped it in the comments, but I see you. You want to tell everybody where they can find you at too?
Yep, you can find me on Facebook under my name, Kathleen Burton, or you can find me on the gram, and that is Kayleen_B, KAYYYLEEN_B. Ask me if I can use my real name. It's been taken in every form, so.
Coming from the woman whose last name is Smith, okay? Now y'all wonder why I keep my maiden name in there. There is no other Amber Foster Smith. How many Amber Smiths are there?
Yeah, I've tried literally every version of my name, and it's like, just kidding, there's a couple of those.
How many numbers would you have to have at the end of it?
Too many.
Way too many. Kim, where can everybody find you at online?
First of all, I feel you. Kim Harris, kind of a generic name. I have to throw the gherkin in the middle so that, there's not that many gherkins out there. But my Facebook page is Lemongrass Spa Kim. My website is lemongrassspakim.com. I am on Instagram, but I don't do a lot there because I just get these weird random men following me. So I just kind of dropped off of there, but it's Kim Harris NC. And through my Facebook page, you can link over to my private group on Facebook, which is Kim's Natural Living Cafe.
Awesome. All right. And what about you, Miss Dana? Where can we find you?
Well, thank you for having me. This has been great. So I really appreciate it. Hopefully I can come back and join you again.
Anytime. And by the way, for anybody who's on here right now, if you ever want to be a part of the community and be on the chat, hello, just send me a message.
You guys can find us at our website, which is carolinafnc.com, or you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Carolina Functional Neurology.
Yay!
Is that in Raleigh, or is it?
It is
in Raleigh. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're on Creedmoor and Lynn Road.
Yeah. Dana, let me just say, I wish that I would have known you about 4.5 years ago. I was in a car accident, had a horrible concussion, could not get in to see anyone because it was a car accident. And for 9 months. I really suffered greatly with post-concussion syndrome. So, to find that there is someone out there that does what you do, that's just amazing.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well.
Dana, you primarily focus on the functional medicine part, right? And then the other people with you focus on the chiropractic. Is that how you're set up?
So we do mostly functional neurology. So everything is done from a rehab perspective. Yeah. So if people need adjustments and things like that while they're under our care, we do that. We do see patients just for primary chiropractic care, but that's not the majority of what we do. So most people that come to see us have, some sort of neurological issue. Like Kim said, we see a lot of concussions and things like that. So.
Awesome. And you said you're on Creedmoor and Lynn?
Creedmoor and Lynn, yep.
All right, awesome. Well, and for us, you guys, we try and keep it easy. We are at Vendrali on Facebook, at Vendrali on Instagram, and at Vendrali on Twitter. And I joke, I'm like, one day I'll figure out the Twitter thing rather than just shortening all my captions to however many words fit in my box. But the biggest place where I want you guys to connect with us is in our community groups. The main pages are fantastic, but where the conversation really happens is inside of those groups. We have different groups for both pretty much any different type of business that you have. We have coaches, we have retailers, we have photographers, we have direct sales, we have nonprofits. We have a space for everyone. So if you check us out on our website, there are direct links, or if you're not sure where to go, feel free to send us a message and I'll be sure to hook you up. But that's the awesome place where you can literally go in and everybody knows and understands what you're going through because they are in the same industry as you and working through all those same things too. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am so glad to see all of your smiling faces. And until next week, we'll do this again, but we'll just have to figure out what our topic is going to be on. So again, if you guys have any ideas of any topics that you want to cover, feel free to drop them in the comments or email me at hello@vendrali.com. And we will see you again next week at Tuesday night. Oh, did you have something, Dana? She's got her finger up. Go, girl.
It worked for Stephanie, so.
It's a teacher in me. I see you.
I do think we're going to do another gift card giveaway. So if anybody, is offering gift cards or, has that opportunity, please leave your information and we'll probably be in touch in a month or so.
What's your email, Dana? Can they send you a message directly there? Would that be the easiest?
Yeah, that's perfect. It's DR and then my last name, BRINDISI@gmail.com.
Perfect. And if you want to drop that in the comments too, feel free.
Will do.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening and I will see y'all all again next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.